let's check out these two.
Game balance.
So, what is happening?
It's hard. The more characters there are, the more variables you have to take into consideration, the easier it is to overpower a character.
Oh my god, I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Fortunately, almost all games made today are tuned with competition in mind. But that wasn't always the case. Sometimes, there were characters that were simply too strong.
There he goes. Oh, he's doing it. He's saying pick someone else.
Too weird.
Easy peasy lemon squeeze.
Or too broken to ever be played in tournament.
I swear to God. Up with the DPs and neutral today.
I didn't win the previous round.
You're marvel! Holy shit!
So today, we're going to explore banned characters in fighting games. So what are some reasons that a character might get banned? The first is something we probably won't see again. Console-exclusive characters. Imagine pulling up to your local to play some Mortal Kombat 9. You've been grinding it out on Xbox Live, practicing punishes, working on your mix-ups, and playing every night. You get to your first round of pools, and what do you see in the character select screen? Someone you've literally never seen before. Kratos, who is only available on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita versions of the game. Obviously, Xbox players facing off against a character they can't practice against is unfair, and if a tournament was hosted on Xbox, it would be unfair the other way. The solution was to straight up ban Kratos. Thankfully, console-exclusive characters are more or less a thing of the past. Something devs used to do to hype up the release of their game and attract a few more customers. Nowhere is this more apparent than the Soul Calibur series. So let's start with the big one, Soul Calibur 2. For OG fighting game players, they may remember the game having an exclusive character for each series of consoles. For the Nintendo GameCube, Link. For the PlayStation, Heihachi from Tekken. And Xbox players received Spawn, as a part of the newly formed partnership with Todd McFarlane, the creator of the character and graphic novel. Obviously, all three characters were banned. But there was one more issue with Soul Calibur 2's roster. Necrid, a new character designed by McFarlane, who was unavailable on the arcade version of SC2, which was released nearly a year before the home console version. With tournaments back in 2002 still being played on these archaic machines, Necrid was banned for the sake of competitive integrity. 6 years later, Soul Calibur 4 released, adding 3 more characters to the ban list. Of the 3, 2 were for the exact same reason. Yoda and Darth Vader, who were released for the Xbox and PlayStation respectively, were not tournament legal. But the third character, well, we'll get to them later. Nowadays, console exclusive
What? Wasn't that Star Killer?
content is liable to get your company canceled, so we don't have to worry about this problem anymore. So what other reasons might characters be banned? The next group can be categorized as hidden characters or boss characters. These characters are typically unlocked either by straightforward means such as beating the game's arcade mode, or by inputting a button sequence to unlock them. These types of characters were supposed to replicate difficult bosses from the game's story mode, and were certainly not made with competitive play in mind. The most famous example is Akuma from Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. To put it simply, this character was f***ed up. In order to pick Akuma in the game, you had to hover over Ryu or Ken for 3 seconds, then T-Hawk, Guile, Kami, and finally back to Ryu or Ken, followed by pressing start and all 3 punch buttons simultaneously.
Jesus, like, how would you even know to do this? Like, I would, like, a dev would be the only one that would know to do this. Like, why would a random person be doing this normally? Like, unless this is their, like, pre-game, like, this is how they get luck for wishing good luck.
If done correctly, players would earn access to Akuma, by far the best character in the game. Akuma is basically Ryu and Ken on steroids. He had way more damage, a flaming fireball that went through other fireballs and could guarantee knockdowns with the heavy version, an insanely fast teleport, an air fireball that straight up invalidates anti-fireball options like Zangief's Lariat, the ability to combo off of basically anything, and much more. Although Akuma would appear as a hidden character in future Street Fighter games, his Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo iteration was by far the strongest, rightfully earning him a ban for the entire competitive lifecycle of the game. For another example of an OP boss character, let's head over to the realm of anime fighters. Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus. The character? Justice. Justice is a boss character that was made playable on the console version of the game. Much like Akuma, she was fucked up. Insanely fast, great combo game, all the tools to rush you down or zone you out, this character simply broke the competitive meta, and was unsurprisingly banned. Luckily for Justice enjoyers, with the release of Accent Core Plus R, Justice was tuned and balanced. Aside from nerfs to her frame data and damage, her mobility was gutted, and she had her ground dash, triple jump, and triple air dash taken away, making her a much slower character.
But man, what crazy names Guilty Gear gives their, like, games, like, goddamn.
While Justice was still powerful and hit like a truck, she was balanced enough to be allowed back into competitive play. Okay, so we've talked about console exclusives. Now, let's talk about the main reason that characters get banned. They're just too damn strong. Remember how I mentioned that Soul Calibur 4 had 3 banned characters? Well, the final one was Hilda. On paper, Hilda looks pretty balanced. Sure, she's
Okay, I was like, I thought it was Star Killer. That was exclusive. But I guess, like, I think he is in both versions of the game. So it means you can either have Star Killer versus Yoda, or you could have Star Killer versus Darth Vader.
got a long range, but she's also slow and unwieldy in close quarters. However, she has what is known as a Doom combo, which guarantees a ring out off of one confirm, something no other character really has.
Hildy is such a strong character, you always have to give it to the player playing her. It's not a Hildy match. And there's the ring out.
Just like that.
God
Just like
damn.
And then you hear the boost.
With ring outs being a guaranteed round win in Soul Calibur, Hilda was quickly banned from most tournaments. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Heritage for the Future, there are two universally banned characters, Kakyoin and Pet Shop. Pet Shop is an inherently strong character. He has insane damage output, excellent movement options, and an unblockable setup with his icicles. But none of these are really ban-worthy. No, the main issue with Pet Shop is the fact that he's a bird who flies. He's a flying bird. He prefers the air. He literally doesn't touch the ground, meaning that he is immune to low attacks, invalidating many characters on the roster. So far, all the characters we've mentioned have one thing in common. Aside from the fact that they're insanely broken, they're all from older games that aren't going to get patched anytime soon. With modern fighting games receiving frequent balance patches, character bans these days are rare, but they do still in fact happen. Here are a few examples from the last 3 years alone. Dragon Ball FighterZ is a game with a long list of overpowered characters. However, only one has ever been officially banned: Labcoat Android 21. Labcoat 21 is in a tier of her own due to remove Photon Pulse, a grab that buffs Labcoat's damage by 21% while nerfing the enemies by 21% permanently for the rest of the match. Although the
Damn.
move itself is hard to land, it was actually possible to combo into the super, which was just busted. At Combo Breaker 2022, she was the most used character by a wide margin in top 48, with 33 teams running the character. In comparison, the next most used character was Vegito, with 14 players using him. By the time top 8 rolled around, only a single player remained that didn't have Labcoat in their team comp. Following Combo Breaker, CEO announced that the character would be banned from their tournament taking place the following month. Thankfully, this ban was short-lived after a balance patch went live and Labcoat 21 received several nerfs, including taking away her ability to combo into Photon Pulse. While there's still a common pick,
That kind of sucks. I mean, I guess the 21 percent like up and 21% down on the enemy is still valid. So since that's probably the biggest thing, but it does suck so you can't combo into it anymore.
they're nowhere near as meta-defining as at Combo Breaker. Next, we're going to talk about Tekken 7. You knew this was coming. Tekken 7 has had its fair share of overpowered characters like Akuma and Geese, but the Season 3 DLC roster brought in some real bullshit. Leroy Smith and Fakumram. Let's start with Leroy. Like the other characters we've mentioned already, Leroy had it all. Strong base tools, ease of use, and insanely high damage output with little to no risk. To demonstrate how broken Leroy was, let's travel back in time to EVO Japan 2020. Leroy had only been in the game for a month, but the general consensus was that he was the best character in the game. At this tournament, the top 3 players from the previous EVO Japan all lost and were eliminated by Leroy players before the top 8. Top 8 itself featured 6 Leroys, and when all was said and done, the eventual champion, Book, told players the secret to winning: just pick Leroy. After the tournament, many top players voiced their displeasure about the character, with one of the game's greatest players, Nii, revealing that out of the 960 participants at EVO Japan, around 80% of them were using Leroy, calling for the character to be banned. Instead, Bandai Namco released an emergency patch specifically targeting Leroy. As a result, Leroy escaped the ban hammer. Unfortunately, Fakumram was not so lucky, and he ended up getting banned from almost every tournament in one of the game's strongest regions, Pakistan. On top of his insane damage and great movement, especially for a character in one of the game's
Wait, what? He was just banned in the region?
Unfortunately, Fakumram was not so lucky, and he ended up getting banned from almost every tournament in one of the game's strongest regions, Pakistan. On top of his insane damage and great movement, especially for a character his size, Fakumram had to be banned due to his janky hurt boxes, which allowed him to escape guaranteed combos and start his own counterattacks. It's hard to blame the community for banning him, especially since Fakumram was released right after Leroy. Having 2 game-breaking characters back-to-back is enough to completely ruin the fun of a game, and Fakumram was the last straw for the Pakistan Tekken community. This leads us to the last reason a character might get banned in a fighting game, which is...
Like, that seems a little overdramatic to me. Like, I don't know. An entire community getting mad at a single game. Like, they're so mad that they banned the newest characters in that game. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, like, probably don't agree to use them, but I'm not entirely sure about, like, the ban. Like, that there should be a soft ban or something like that, being like, okay, you can only use this character, like, once during this tournament or something like that. So, I don't know. People probably would have whipped them out probably in the semifinals or something.
Sometimes it just feels like the right thing to do. There's no objective metrics for what gets a character banned, and often it's up to the community to decide what version of the game they want to play. In games like Smash, there were calls for Meta Knight to be banned in Brawl, Bayonetta in Smash 4, and currently Steve in Smash Ultimate. And different communities from different regions have taken their own approaches. Some tournaments banned Meta Knight, while others today are banning Steve or unbanning him depending on the event. Sometimes a middle ground can be reached, like for the case of Ice Climbers in Smash Melee, whose infinite technique known as wobbling has been banned, unbanned, and rebanned throughout the years. Regardless, with games being
This
frequently
guy's
patched
so
and new
pissed.
characters releasing all the time, it's unlikely that we'll see too many characters in the future being banned from tournament play. However, as we've seen with Dragon Ball FighterZ and Tekken, it's not impossible to get the balancing wrong, and sometimes a character ban is the kick in the pants a developer needs to rethink how they balance their game. What are your thoughts on banned characters in fighting games? Are there any characters throughout history you think should have been banned but weren't? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. My name's Jonah. See you next time.
I always love this channel, like how they explain the history of any esports game, whether it's something like actual fighting games or some very niche game. It's competitive history. So yeah, I enjoyed this channel. And if you guys enjoyed it too, please make sure to give them a subscribe and probably check out this video yourself and check out their other videos. Also, if you guys enjoyed my reaction, please make sure to follow me on all my social medias, like my Twitter, my Twitch, my YouTube, my DLive, my TikTok, my Kick, my Rumble, my Odyssey, my Daily Motion. Make sure to check out my new second YouTube channel. Make sure to like and comment on all my videos, and even join my Discord server. There you can stay up to date with everything I choose to do, where's my streams, videos, or anything else. But yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.